What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Game Week FC. My name is Travis and my brother Parker. We are back with the English Premier League. It's been such a long wait. Parker, are you excited?
I am pumped. Year two. Let's get it.
Dude, I am freaking stoked for this new season. Thankfully, we had the World Cup to keep us busy this summer, but there's nothing like the Prem, man. It keeps us going year round pretty much. And I am very excited to make our predictions for this season. So let me share my screen really quick. Here is the table. This is in no particular order. This is not our prediction, but we're going to start from top to bottom. I'm going to start with my predictions first, and then we'll go. Parker, you will predict yours. All right, I'm starting like most people do. They have Hull City at the bottom. I have Coventry in second to last, and I have Ipswich in third to last. Okay. Just about everybody out there thinks that the three that just got up are going back down. So I'm kind of on that train as well. Um, Next up, I've got. Actually, you know what? Screw this. I'm not gonna. This is gonna take too long. Um, Here we go. So my table is on the right. Parker's table is on the left. Um, Parker, let's start with why we both picked the bottom three.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, the three that do come up tend to struggle. I think last year was sort of an anomaly with Sunderland and Leeds. On paper, these teams just have not done the same things that those other two did, and they just have a weaker squad overall. I don't really see them staying up at all, or even putting up much of a fight, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting. We have it. We have you have Coventry coming in 18th. Why do you have that?
Um, I do kind of like Lampard. I think they're probably the best out of the three. They also won the championship last year. Um, so that's why I give them the slight edge, I guess, of the three.
Okay, yeah, I picked Ipswich to come 18th because I kind of looked at both rosters. I wasn't familiar with a lot of Coventry City players, and it looks like Ipswich have maybe spent a little bit more money to bring in players this summer. I think they kind of bulked up their squad, so that's why I picked Ipswich. But yeah, okay, 17th place you have Everton. I have picked Crystal Palace. Um, what's up with why aren't you high on the Toffees?
I just don't think they've done a lot of business this summer, and it felt like they really needed to do some. I just see them having another relegation fight season.
Okay, that's fair. They've been through the mud with David Moyes before, so uh, wouldn't be surprised if that happened again. But I'm a little bit higher on the Evertonians. We're both somewhat in agreement on the next two teams. We're not going to jump too far ahead. I have Crystal Palace in 17th. I think that the combination of Europe plus uh, what their current squad's looking like and the players that they've lost, I think they're going to struggle with balancing the two. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think they'll just escape relegation. I think it might be really close. I don't think these bottom three are as bad as everyone thinks, so I think it's going to come down to the wire. Um, in 16th place, I have Fulham. I think a lot of people are kind of down on Fulham as well. I've seen one YouTuber put them actually in eighth place. That would be shocking. I just with new coach, I'm really not that high on what's his name?
Arbeloa.
Arbiola. Yeah. He's a new coach. He really doesn't have that much experience. And this Fulham squad seems a little thin after losing Harry Wilson and Raul Jimenez. I can't see them getting very high. What's
Yeah,
your thoughts on?
I'm also not super high on them as I have them finishing 15th. So, but as a Real Madrid fan, I can add a layer of perspective here. Arbeloa did a fantastic job with youngsters at Madrid. He brought up a lot of young guys, and he's even brought over Gonzalo Garcia, breaking the Fulham transfer record, 40 million for him to lead the line. Um, and brought over another youngster. I'm blanking on his name right now. Pete Arch, I think. Um, so he's going to bring youth up through the system and into the first team. So it might be a rocky first season, but I think if they can buy into his vision, they'll be a solid team over the next 5 years.
Yeah, I could see that too. I I think yeah, as once he gets more comfortable and starts bringing in new talent, I think they could be a successful team. You have Palace 16th. Is it kind of the same reasons as why I have them in 17th?
Yeah, honestly, you hit the nail on the head. Not much else to add.
Okay. Let's see where we at. We're in. Okay, I have Sunderland 15th. Pretty much the same reason as Crystal Palace. European competition. Their their squad is good, very good, but it is kind of thin. I think if Granit Xhaka, I mean he's getting up there. He's getting. I mean he is a very healthy. I don't know how old he is. He's in his 30s.
It's 38.
If he gets hurt, yeah, he's 38, which is mind blowing. Because he's such a fantastic leader. If he gets hurt, or if he gets fatigued, if someone gets hurt in this team, it could absolutely cripple the Sunderland team. Um, and we kind of saw them towards the end of last season start, struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they had a fantastic season, but yeah, I don't think they can sustain it with European competition. Um, all right, 14th. This is interesting. You have Newcastle. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, I mean they've lost so many key pieces, and they've seemed to have struggled to fill those positions. It seems like every target they want gets snatched up by someone else. Um, I'm just really worried about their attack. I have question marks about Voltamade and Visa as a front two, or even both of them on the same pitch. I don't see where the creativity is coming from outside of like Harvey Barnes, um, and that's a concern, and Alonga, I guess, but he's too inconsistent for me. New manager coming from the Saudi league. Yes, he's different. He's bringing new ideas. Likes to play attacking football, but I just don't see this going well for the Magpies.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I see them. I mean, I have them in 12th, but I could see them anywhere from 12th to 15th. But I mean, they could very well surprise us if they make a signing or two on deadline day. If they can bring in like an attacking creative player, like you said, I think they could really make a move. Osula is someone that you
Mm.
did not mention. He could start for Newcastle. I think towards the end of last season, he was a fantastic player. His stats were a lot better than Voltemade and Wissa. I don't know. It's an interesting combination. I think it's a good thing that they got rid of Eddie Howe. Well, I don't know. Eddie Howe was fantastic. I think Newcastle fans were a little. I think it just got a little stale. I think they got. You've been there so long. I feel like they just needed like an injection of
Yeah.
youth. I think this new
I agree.
coach brings that, and they've got a lot of young players on the team, so maybe that could create some sort of chemistry between a young coach and a young team, and they could turn it around this season. But the odds of that, I feel like, are a little bit lower than them making the top 10. I don't know. I have Bournemouth in 14th. Um, I kind of feel like I should have put Newcastle there instead, but the reason I put Bournemouth in 14th is because of European competition once again. Um, they lose their coach. The one thing that Bournemouth have going is they have that roster in place. Besides Senesi leaving, they have a little bit of team squad continuity, and they really just have the firepower um, to continue from last season and score goals. I looked at the preseason results, and they beat a team 10-1. It was I forgot who it was, Genoa from the Italian league, I think. They're not gonna slow down in terms of scoring goals. I think it's just in that squad's DNA to keep to attack. So I don't think that's gonna change much. I don't think a new manager is gonna change that much about Bournemouth. But I still don't have them that high because of European competition. Um, 13th. Uh, Fascinating. You've got Leeds. Let's hear.
Yeah, I was just struggling looking up the table, justifying putting Leeds any higher. I do think they are a good team. I guess my one concern is at the sharp end. Are you gonna get another, what was it, 12 goals out of Calvert Lewin? I don't know. They're I just think they need something else. Um, so yeah, that's kind of why I have them there in 13th.
That's fascinating. I'm gonna get into them a little bit later than
I see.
expected.
Yes.
13th. I have Everton in 13th. I'm actually fairly high on Everton. I considered putting them higher than 13th, but um, I mean, they have the continuity, they have the squad continuity, they have the coach continuity. Unlike most teams in the league, they have the same coach who has experience there. They increased the depth in the midfield. Only reason I don't have them higher is because they still have not signed a right back. I mean, their back line's pretty much the same, and I think I still don't think they have the firepower um, to propel into the top 10. I don't know. I mean, they did acquire Tyreek George. Was he there last season, or is he new? I think he's new.
I
Um,
he was at Chelsea. I think he's on loan somewhere though.
okay. Um, yeah, I think he will help. If I've heard rumors that Everton are going to sign Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace, if that happens, Everton top 10 is totally a possibility. Um, because I love Daniel Munoz. Dude, Daniel Munoz is one of my favorite, most underrated players in the league. He should be at a top five team, in my opinion. But we're not going to go into that. If Everton get him, I would place Everton at like ninth or 10th. I'd really consider that. Um,
Does Palace then
Newcastle,
drop?
for sure. Well, probably not lower than 17th. I think they'll still find a way to stay up, but yeah, that definitely hurts
Hmm.
Crystal Palace big time. Um, so yeah, then I have Newcastle 12th. Like I said, I think without European competition, with the injection of youth coaching and just that kind of chemistry potential, I have them figuring it out maybe later in the season. I have them 12th. You have Nottingham Forest, which I have in 11th. Talk to me about Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I'm honestly really high on them. The only reason I don't have them any higher in the table is because I think they're going to get off to a slow start. For the players to learn Glasner's system, I think there's going to be a bit of bumps in the road. But I think they really pick up steam around Christmas time and into the new year. And that'll sort of pick them up into that mid-table area. I really like what they've done though. I like the Diamande signing as center back. We talked off camera about Dan and Doy. I am sort of doubling down on him on his sophomore year. Um, I think Igor Jesus will take a big step this year as well. So I do like them a lot. I just think they get off to a slow start.
Interesting. Yeah, I am also fairly high on Nottingham Forest. I think Glasner is a manager that wherever he goes, I think he finds success. I mean, he brought Crystal Palace out of the darkness. Yeah, I think Forest. I think he has a really good structure to build from. Um, Really solid back line. They added, I think it's Usman Diamande, Ivory Coast center back. He's probably going to play a three back like he always does. Um, it looks like they've been doing okay in preseason. Igor Jesus has been finding the net. He might be a breakout player this season, like you said. I think my only concern maybe would be the midfield plus whether the outside backs can be aggressive enough. I'm not concerned with Nico Williams. Nico Williams on the left side is going to be he's probably going to thrive in the system, but uh, well, I forgot his first name, but Aina,
Olena.
um, Ole Aina, on the right side. I don't know if he will be that effective in the system. He might be. He might prove me wrong, but yeah, I like the Forest. I like Glasner. 11th seems like um, probably where they're going to be this season. You have Sunderland.
Yeah, I think for all the reasons you mentioned earlier, I think they do struggle with European competition. I think that their squad is a little shallow. They could use a bit more depth. I know Brian Brobby really started to find the back of the net last season, earned his place on the Dutch national team. They need him to take another big step. Otherwise, I'm not really sure where else you're going to get goal production from. I mean, I like Enzo Lefebvre. I like Talby. Um, but I just think you need a little bit more there. So I think they struggle with the dual comp or with multiple competitions.
Yeah, I agree. Um, all right, we're up to 10th now. This might be surprising for some people. I have Aston Villa in 10th. Um, as most of us know, Villa have. I actually think they've outperformed in the last few seasons. Getting into the top five, top six with a differential. Like I think last season they were like maybe +9, which I mean it's good, but I just don't think that's sustainable. Um, I know I shouldn't be doubting on Unai Emery. He's a fantastic coach. He always finds a way uh, to succeed with his team. But I'm looking at this roster. They have a ton of key injuries to start this season, and they're rumored to just have sold Ezri Konsa to Arsenal, who Ed Konsa's probably been their standout center back in the last couple of years. I just I don't know. I can't. I don't think it's sustainable for them. I think they're going to struggle having European competition and trying to get all these new players that they've signed, attackers, producing. I think they're going to struggle personally.
I can't disagree with that. I'm a bit concerned for
So
them
you
as
got
well.
Brentford in 10th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, uh, I think Keith Andrews is going to take another step this year. Again, I just worry about the production. Can Thiago do it again? Is he going to get the uh, goal help or goal contributions around him through Kevin Schade and others on Brentford? I like them, but I'm not quite as high on them as you are. um, but I think overall they have a good season, but I think yeah, I just have them in 10th. I think it sort of teeters off towards the end.
Okay. Then you got Bournemouth in ninth. I've got Brighton in ninth. Do you believe Bournemouth are going to be just as effective?
I've got concerns, but like you alluded to, it's virtually the same squad minus Senesi. Um, so I'm optimistic that they keep firing. Um, so yeah, I think that they shouldn't have any issue. Repeating what they did last year, I am a little worried about the extra competition, but um, yeah, I'm backing the Cherries.
Okay. Brian, I probably would have had them a little bit higher if they didn't have European competition. They've got a couple guys injured again, Minte and Matoma. But they do, and they sold Van Heck, got a new center back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year, personally. But they are still a fantastic team, and they've got most players. Most, I mean, they have continuity. Most of their players are back. Same coach, which is I think that's very valuable. Um, yeah, I think Brighton are due for another top 10 finish. You have them in eighth.
Yeah, to sort
Similar.
of spin off what you had just alluded to, I really like them. I think having Hinchelwood or not Hinchelwood, Hinchelwood, yes, but Thomas Hertzler back again is a big win for them. They also just signed Promise David this week, um, Canadian striker. I think that will bolster their attack, even though he's young. I think his power and speed fits the Premier League quite well, and Brighton have really anytime Brighton signs a young player, your radar should go up. They also just spent 21 million on a young Swedish or not Swedish Nigerian winger from a Swedish side, AIK, and he looks very very good. I think he's raw, but he's poised to contribute to that Brighton attack. So I'm really excited for Brighton. They're just a well-run club, and it's hard not to pick them to finish up here in this top end of the table.
Yeah, I actually did not realize they signed Promise David. That's a massive addition to their team. They needed a striker. Like you said, Jack Hinchelwood, I think is going to be a he's going to be a star this season for them. Yeah, I actually that I like Brighton a little bit more now. Uh, Now that I know that, I have Leeds United in eighth,
Hmm.
and I feel no guilt putting them there. They have strengthened their team massively this season. They competed with just about every team in the league last season. They added Harry Wilson for I want to say free from Fulham, um, which is an absolute steal. So that's added depth. They've added depth in the back line a little bit. They signed another center back, Muharramovic. I think that's how you say his name. He's going to be a stud. He's a young player. I think they have what it takes, and they have the continuity. And yes, I do think Calvert Lewin can score 12 goals again this season. He's looked good in preseason. I think Leeds are capable of surprising people this season. Um, so I'm taking I'm taking Leeds United eighth. Um, all right, you have Villa in seventh. Let's hear your
Yep.
reasoning for them.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna preface this with I am worried because their squad has been raided. They've lost what 6 key players this summer already. Well, I guess 5, pending Emi Martinez. Um, but honestly, I'm just backing Unai Emery here because he always finds a way. He always
You're breaking
delivers.
up on me. Maybe
Is that any better?
yeah, maybe just speak a little bit slower. I think.
All
Um,
right. I was just saying that I back Unai Emery pretty much all the time. He's given us no reason to not have faith in him, and he continues to deliver. So Unai Emery is the sole reason that I have Villa this high.
okay. Yeah, I mean you can't. I mean you can never count him out. So I don't dislike that pick at all. I probably shouldn't have them at 10th, but I the teams that I picked ahead of them I like a little bit more. Um, I have Brentford in 7th, and I absolutely love the bees this season. Um, and it's funny. I typed in the Chat GPT. Uh, Not saying that you should trust Chat GPT, but I was like, what's a team that might surprise people this season who have continuity, that have underlying data that suggests that they might outperform? And the answer was Brentford. Okay. And all the reasons that they stated, even with the new coach last season, they performed excellent. Um, they have the continuity of the coach, the players. They have the pieces. They've signed some new talent. Mamadou Sangare in the midfield is a machine. They've added a backup Callum Wilson for Thiago just in case. Uh, they need some extra goals. They've added Jaden Anthony on the wing. I just really like this Brentford team. And last season they had a really good XG. In preseason, they've looked absolutely gross. They beat Eintracht Frankfurt from Germany 7-0, which is mind blowing.
So
Um,
Europa League
I
finalist.
yeah, guys, do not count this Brentford team out. One of my favorite bets for the season is for them to get top 10. Um, yeah, I think they're going to get revenge for last season not getting barely missing out of European competition. I think that's going to be extra motivation for them. I absolutely love the bees. Um, we both got Spurs at 6. Um, tell me your reasoning.
Well, they've improved massively, at least in squad value. They've tweaked their transfer strategy. They're finally a buying club, which I feel like they should have been for a long time now. But I like the business they've done. I thought last year their midfield was quite frankly invisible, and they've addressed that immediately with Fernandez Tonali. Um, so yeah, I like them a lot. I just think I would have them higher, but the attack. I don't think Richarlison and Solanke are the answer. Um, so there's still a bit of time, so maybe they do a little bit more business, but yeah, that's kind of why I have them in sixth.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think De Zerbi has had enough time. I'm glad they signed him in the spring because he's had a little bit more time to prepare and make the signings or help contribute to that those signings. They've signed some fantastic center backs, ball playing center backs who could advance the ball. They got some guys in the midfield who are absolutely dogged. They've got good depth this season. We got injured guys coming back, Kulisevsky. Um, I'm really excited about the Spurs team. I agree with you. They don't really have a game changing attacker yet, but it sounds like they might be close to signing Savinho from City, also Marmoush
Hmm.
from City as well. So if they can get one or both of those guys, that could uh that could really change this Spurs team. And I actually, after making this, I have a really bold prediction. Because Spurs are not competing in European competition, Chelsea are not competing in European competition. I have a bold prediction that it could be a three-horse race between the three London teams: Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs. But that's not what I picked in this.
All right, I like
Um,
that. I like that prediction though.
yeah. Um, we have the same fifth team as well, Liverpool. Um, this is the team that I support, Liverpool. I I had trouble um, with Liverpool. I love Iriola. I think he's a fantastic hire. I'm worried about our depth. I don't know if we have um, enough to push for a top four, but I think we're good enough to get five. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't get top five, but I think we might start slow this season. I think once Iriola's system gets in the gear, I think we could be maybe have the best second half of the season of uh, of the Premier League of a lot of teams. I think we'll be clicking at some point this season. What's your reason?
Yeah, I agree with the Iriola stance. Great coach. I think it's just going to take a minute to learn his system. Oddly, in y'all's preseason games, he keeps saying that his players can only run for 30 minutes. um, that's a little concerning considering we are a week out from the start of the Premier League. But my big concern is that center back. I don't think that Arahu's the answer with Van Dijk, an aging Van Dijk who was showing quite a few mistakes in his game last year. Um, and then the big question up top is, can Isak and Verts click, and can they click together? So I just feel like there's too many question marks around too many important positions. So that's why I have them in fifth.
Yeah, it's a tough prediction to make. Um, I think Jacques, the new young signing for Liverpool, I think it's Jeremy Jacques. I think he's the real deal at center back. I think he's going to help massively. It could happen to where it's Araujo and Jacques and no Van Dyke. I'm just saying that could happen if Iriola wants his defenders to, you know, be to run more. All right, fourth place. I have Manchester United. You have Manchester City. Um, yeah. What's your case on there?
I honestly think Man City struggle tremendously this year. I almost put them outside of the top five altogether. I almost bumped them down to where Spurs are in sixth. I think Maresca struggles with the locker room. I mean, let's not forget he got this job because he got fired from his previous job. It wasn't like a Man City poached him scenario. They also lost Rodri. There's a gaping hole there. I love the Anderson signing. And I have more on that later, but I think the squad's still good enough to get them into Europe. Holland will single handedly, you know, win them games. But I have serious doubts about Maresca. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with City.
Yeah. I kind of I slightly I don't know if I should overreact to the Community Shield result.
That was concerning.
Uh, yeah, I'll get into that in a second, but I have Manchester United. Yes, they were one of the best teams last season. But part of the reason for that was because they were not playing in Europe and they had complete focus on the league. I've gone back and forth. I actually had them in second or third, but I moved them down just because of Europe. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to have as productive as a season because of Europe. I mean, he's getting a little bit older. He's going to be 33, I think, this season. And they're probably going to preserve him for a lot of Champions League games. I mean, I don't remember the last time United were in the Champions League, so they might focus on that quite a bit. But they do have. I mean, last season they had one of the highest XGs. They've strengthened their midfield. I'm still concerned about their defense, but they've strengthened their midfield, which is massive. We'll see if they make any more signings, but they've got they've got a great team and continuity as well with their coach and squad. So yeah, I think top four is definitely in the realm. We both have Chelsea at three. I think, like I said earlier, Chelsea with the depth that they have and the manager that they have now, and no European competition, I think there is no excuse for them not to get top four or top five. I would be shocked if they didn't. Um, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same thought process. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Xabi Alonso. I think he's going to do a great job with that roster. Um, I think it all really depends on how well they start. To be honest with you, because they're going to get better as the year goes on, as Alonso has more time with them. But it's, can he start winning immediately and put points on the board? That's probably the biggest question for Chelsea, whether or not they can actually be a contender.
Yeah, yeah. My one concern is probably their center backs. I mean, Lacroix is a great center back. He's not really the ball playing center back uh, uh, that Alonso might need in this system. Um, so that could hinder Chelsea a little bit. But I mean, they have no excuse. They have an absolute firepower squad. They should score loads of goals. Cole Palmer should bounce back. João Pedro should have a great season. Yeah, they should compete. I have City in second. Getting into this, I thought about putting them lower. I had them lower, but they have the resources. They have the money. They could easily. I believe they're gonna go buy a center midfielder before the season starts. After seeing the Community Shield results, I promise you, they know that they need to improve. Um, I still don't think it's enough to win the league, but um, yeah, I do think they struggle. But I think they can turn it around. I think they have every resource available to them to do so. I actually like Enzo Maresca. I think he's a good coach. He did well at Chelsea. It's weird. That was a weird time that he left. Tell me why you got Manchester United in second place.
I am extremely high on Manchester United this year. I absolutely love the squad. I love the Carrick full time appointment. He knows the culture at Old Trafford. He knows the team very well. I think that Benjamin Sesko, I'm banking on Sesko having a massive year. I think he puts up 15 goals this year for Man United. I know that's not like a huge number, but uh, him and Buemo and Cunha, I'm going to say all three of them have double digit goals and assists this year. And United steamroll a lot of teams. I love the midfield additions they've had. Andre Santos, bringing in fresh legs there. Earlier today, this is probably not confirmed yet, but Carlos Baleba back on the watch list for them. So I think there's really, really exciting things going on at United, and I think that they will be the main contender with Arsenal.
Yeah, that would not surprise me. The way they finished last season, they were absolutely on fire. It would not surprise me at all. If they do sign another midfielder and maybe another center back, I think they have a real strong chance of competing for the title. But we both agree on who's number one here. Arsenal, I just the way that they've conducted themselves this off season and who they've brought in, their depth is absolutely unreal. I don't in their continuity. Coach is still there, pretty much same starting squad. I mean, I just don't see anybody overcoming Arsenal, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it feels like we're in a new era for sure, and one that Arsenal will dominate for a few years. Yeah, their depth is insane. I think the Kwanzaa signing is an embarrassment of riches at the back. I think Jokic needs to have a big year, but yeah, you saw he didn't have a great year last year, and
Right.
they still won. So I hope they play a little more attractive football this year. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. I think I think they still win this league fairly comfortably. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Unless my Brentford Bees can shock the world and become the new Leicester City. Um, yeah, Arsenal should win the league. Book it. That's our top 20. That is our Premier League 2026-27 predicted standings. Um, so yeah, that's all we got for you guys in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a long video, but that was our real opinions, and I hope you guys took some value from it. Enjoy the season, guys. I can't freaking wait. Parker, thanks for joining me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you next video. Parker,
Adios,
adios.
amigo.